Hi, welcome back to another episode of Sincerely Spiritually Spoken with Nasia. This is episode 7. And I didn't know the statistic for sure, but I just got refreshed that 90% of podcasts do not make it past episode 3. And I'm double that, plus 1. I'm on episode 7. So big shout out to me, especially just given like the hard time I had with accomplishing this season, y'all. I'm very proud of me, and I just want to give myself my flowers to start off the episode. It's actually a super gloomy, rainy, thunderstormy day today, but I have on my bright colors and my happy outfit because I'm going to bring the cheer even when it's gloomy, you know? So I've been checking back into a lot of my goals now because the last 3 months specifically have been the definition of spiritual warfare mentally, y'all. I'm starting to feel like the pulse in my body is coming back. I'm no longer like a shell of myself. I really feel mentally clear again. I feel there's some discipline that's coming back. Genuinely, I have not been disciplined with a lot of my goals. I have not been as structured as I wanted to be. A lot of that was my mental health, which I've been giving myself the grace for. But in the back of my mind, I'm always beating myself up because I'm such an overachiever and goal-driven person that when I know I'm not showing up my best, I still struggle with accepting that I'm not giving it my all. So this last few months have been really hard on me mentally, not only the mental health that I'm dealing with, but adding on the fact that I'm not showing up my best and I know that I'm not my best. It's just been very hard for me. The baby is here with me again today, y'all. So we're not going to shame the baby goo-goos and gagas like I said before. He is right here with me today because the season that I'm in, y'all, he's with me all the time. He's with me every day. And you have to just meet yourself where you are, okay? One of my biggest speaking from the heart pieces, something that was just pressing on my spirit was actually a post that I seen 2 days ago. And the person literally quoted and said, "Your past self doesn't really need you because things have already happened." And that really hit me because we carry this armor sometimes from all the trauma we've been through. And hey, can I record my episode, please? Is that okay? Can I record it, please? Okay, thank you. Thank you. You're so sweet. So that statement really meant a lot to me because I do think that in this past few months of me going through some things, I have picked up some old habits again, and I've went back to some old. Can I maybe wheel him out? If we can, yeah, if we can. Okay. Because I know what mood you're in. You're going to keep talking about Dada. Bye-bye. Okay. So, as I've said before, this season is really embodiment. This season is really just taking a break from being so hard on myself on what I should change and what I should improve next, but instead just embodying all the positive traits that I already have, focusing on the things that God did well on me. And part of why I struggle with getting over this hump of perception and being out there to y'all and walking in my purpose really did have a lot to do with people pleasing. And I know I spoke about being a recovering people pleaser, but honestly, I had a new revelation a few days ago that God put it on my heart that I've been dealing with idolatry of people pleasing. It's not just a small thing where I want to make people happy, but it's almost like I idolize the way and the perception that people feel of me, and I want to protect that. And I'm not saying that I show up fakely at all. I'm really an authentic person and I'm true to myself. But at the same time, I prevent God allowing me to be a true vessel for him sometimes because I'm so hell-bent on what I need people to see, AKA the control over everything. And I've really been having to deal with that because I've stopped a lot of my own growth and evolution, as well as a lot of the goals that God has for me because I'm worried about what other people are going to think, how they're going to see me. I'm feeling like an imposter when I'm using God's gifts that I know are my gifts because of how much I've played myself small and shrunk myself, that now that I'm trying to God is kind of almost pushing me without my permission anymore. I literally my whole life have been running on the faith of God. I have not been as intentional in my life as I've been this past year. And it's weird because it's been so much harder now that I have been intentional to walk with God. And I'm figuring out that, again, a lot of that was my people pleasing idolatry of caring what people think. I'm a very intellectual person. I don't like to argue with people. So when I say things, most of the time they're factual related, and people tend to have arguments or opinions about things. And I'm not really an argumentative person because I said what I said, you said what you said. I'm here to listen. I'm very open-minded, but I'm not really one that can be changed often as far as my mindset, unless it has like spiritual backing of it, usually like word of God, right? So that can tend to be a hard space to be in when we're in this like day and age where everybody's big on like my truth, my truth, my truth. And you can get caught up in sometimes like whatever narrative you want your life to be. And this past couple weeks, God has been kind of bringing me closer to him. And I've been feeling the need to isolate a lot more again, just with all the weight that's coming off of me. And part of the weight that's been coming off me is just aligning myself in the rooms that I need to be in and around the people that I need to be around. I can't stress enough how much you are wasting your time and energy with people that are not supposed to go with you. You cannot be selfish in this healing journey. You cannot try to hold on to people for the convenience of you and for the satisfaction of you. And so with this journey of letting a lot of people go and things go, I have been having to pray to God and really just sit with myself that I have like selfish tendencies of wanting to attach like myself to people's growth, right? So like most people that we see around us, if we're living on their potential, you're like, you know, you could be so great. Like, I'm gonna keep you around because you could be so great. When whole time, that's really a projection of your own potential that you're seeing in that person, number one. And number two, it's a very selfish, like self-serving way to only truly want the better for people because it serves you. So checking your heart sometimes and like stepping back from people and saying, you know what, even if you're not in my life, will I still care for you the same way? Will I still pray for you the same way? Will I still want the best for you if you're not in my life? And honestly, y'all, there will be some people where you'll realize I don't care about you that much because you didn't care about me, or you don't serve as much purpose in my life as I gave you. And once you kind of snap out of that and you let the extra weight go, then you'll find yourself gravitating back towards the things that matter. And for me, a pillar in my life is God. I have never had a season where God is not important to me. I have never had a season where I felt like I didn't have a relationship with God, y'all. But this past few months, like the spiritual warfare and just like the energetic like pulls I've been having on myself have been so chaotic. It really open up another piece of like understanding spirituality. And I'll get into a lot of these things later, y'all, because it's just not enough time in the day. However, that internal separation from God where your like mind is just gone, like you cannot make it make sense. You cannot grasp on reality. You feel like you're going insane. Like I've been there and I'm recently just crawling my way out, but I have to take accountability and say, a lot of that was harder because I was trying to run away from God, caring more about what people thought. I cared more about pleasing these people. I cared more about holding on to these people, being in these spaces that I no longer fit in, obtaining or maintaining a perception that was safe for me. Just so many other things that were blocking my evolution and stopping God from elevating me to the next level, because I got to the point where I was literally trying to convince God and myself that I didn't know how clear his vision was for me, y'all. Like, I've always had a very clear vision of what God wants for me since I was a child. Me being in front of these cameras has been going on since I was a child. Me knowing that God wanted me to be on a platform has been something I've known since I went viral for doing my homework in labor, something that was really organically me. Like, I've always known what God has for me, but I've literally held myself back because of people pleasing. In the season of like, it's been just the season I've been in, y'all, like honestly. And now that I've been kind of just getting back into the isolation, I can feel almost like overnight my taste buds are just like turning off towards the old habits and old things that I used to have appetite for. I've been eating clean again. I've been getting back in my gym routine. I took 12 weeks off. So I'm very excited getting back in the gym. Honestly, y'all, this past week, my phone has been off and I'm not turning it back on purpose because I genuinely don't have to subscribe to society where I need a phone all the time. I don't believe that. And I don't want a phone all the time. I have my children with me and my family can call me. So I've been off the grid for about a week and I've been enjoying it. As well as I've been back in just deep prayer. I've been talking a lot to God. I've been focusing a lot on like the real life dopamine that I get, you know? So Every small thing throughout the day that makes me happy, I'm being conscious of it and I'm paying note of it. And it has made quite the impact on just staying happy and staying steady now that I am coming out of that like dark season. I'm like so grateful for everything that I wasn't recognizing. You know what I'm saying? Like the birds in the sky and the squirrels that run through my apartment complex. Those are like daily jewels and gems that are so easy to forget about when we're so busy with a whole bunch of nothing, you know? My creative juices have been flowing again. I've been dealing with burnout in the hair area for a long time. I started to allow myself to think that I was supposed to be shifting out of hair a little bit more prematurely than God actually had me shifting. So I'm very thankful that now I've been receiving some creative downloads on some next steps with hair and just what to do to continue prospering my hair business before I do retire. I gave myself about 10 years and I've been doing hair for about 8 years now. So I got about 2-3 years left before I want to transition fully into health and wellness, which I need those years to continue educating myself because I don't want to be like most people where they jump off with a few facts trying to tell you guys things and then you constantly have to watch them evolve and change and regress on the things that they're trying to teach because they weren't 100% for sure. I'd rather just continue bettering my education and getting the experience and take my transition a lot slower than I was trying to. And knowing that God has me in a place where I'm going to be on a platform, I'm going to use my voice, I'm going to be a role model for people. I wanted to kind of run away from using my gift in the front and center where I'm like on the platform. And I wanted to like find any way that I could be behind the scenes, whether that's nutrition and wellness, which I do enjoy cooking and things like that. But I need to be working with these women hand in hand and I need to be right there with them. So I'm just overall done trying to allow myself to have those insecurities make me feel like I'm not on track with what God has me doing, y'all. Because when I say I've known this since I was a child, and even though I don't want to be, like, since I was a child. And it's crazy to see it coming in fruition in a season where I literally was trying my best to run the furthest I could from this purpose and this calling and just how it all aligned and made sense. Like it's crazy. The more sober-minded you are with your life, the more easy it is to change and adapt and to grow. When you're still living in delusion about things, you can't go nowhere. You just gonna be delusionally in a circle, running around, chasing your tail, blaming everybody else about why you can't shift directions. And I am putting myself back on the fire and I'm holding myself the most accountable that I am different. I am a lot more advanced spiritually. I am a lot more intellectually versed than a lot of people around me. And that's not on accident. God put me in spaces and places to give me that recognizance of like, oh, dang, I'm different. Like, I'm not like y'all. I'm nothing like y'all. And I've tried my hardest to feel like I wanted to fit in while still being able to be kind of like a vessel for what I knew I was supposed to do. And the well ran dry, y'all. Like, I'm not able to shift or shake or mold into anything that's comfortable for anybody else besides God at this point in my life. And I really want that to be taken seriously. I have rededicated 100% my energy and my life to Christ specifically. There are so many ideologies of God. There are so many understandings of God. But I promise you, from someone who grew up in the church and then a couple years ago looked my grandfather, who's a pastor, in the face and said, Papa, I need to really dive deep into my understanding of God. And I need to really explore what I know and why I know it. And I don't know if I'm going to be a Christian. I don't know if I can follow Jesus. I don't. And now just seeing how since that past 2 years, the spiritual warfare that I dealt with of almost literally telling God, like, peace out, I'm about to go explore and I'm about to go figure it out, you know? And I played around with a lot of people's truths and I did a lot of research and I became very theologically educated about things. And no matter what, you cannot run from that feeling and you cannot run from that presence. And God is real. And there are seasons where I could read whatever book. There's episodes where y'all have heard me say things to y'all that were very divine and spiritual when I wasn't even connected with God. And like, that's how important it is to know you can talk that talk, but until you walk that walk, you will not have the presence of God with you. You won't. And I promise you, you can get far, but you can get a lot further off God's gas. I promise. And for me, I'm just submitting myself fully and just finally surrendering to this calling. I say it all the time because it's so crazy to me, y'all. Like, this recording of this entire season has been over the span of about 3 months. And there's been so many life-changing things happen in this past 3 months that I can't keep up. So for me, I'm still in a shock state of like, wow, this is really what you have for me, God. Like, this is really what I'm supposed to do. And I just feel that flame reigniting in me. And that's kind of what I want to name the episode, is reigniting the flame within, and just understanding that there is no flame like God's flame. There is no passion like God's passion. There's no energy like God's energy. There's no love like God's love. I promise you, there's no beauty like God's beauty in the things that he marks. And just being in that space of gratitude again and just being close to him has been so, like, I've been so much more appreciative this go around of feeling that proximity and that presence of God than any time in my life before, because I've known that feeling of separation from him this past few months, y'all. And so if this is an encouragement for anybody that takes their faith very like lukewarm and that uses God for their convenience, I promise you there's going to be a season where you will not have him, and he will do that just to show you how much you take advantage of him so that you never do again. Because I promise you, there's not anything in this world worth losing my relationship with God again. Nothing. Not a person, not a temptation, not a craving, not a habit, nothing. And I mean that from the bottom of my soul. I have repented for so many things. I have forgiven myself for so many things and allowed myself to let go. And I just feel like I've been, washed away and refreshed again. And I'm ready for tackling life outside of the world. Well, I'm ready for tackling the world without being a part of the world. And I think for a long time, I was trying to find my way in the world and find acceptance in the world so that I could do work in the world. Not remembering that God is going to open every door he needs you to open. It don't matter if they like you or not. If you really are standing by him, it don't matter how controversial you are, how unorthodox you are, how weird you are, how cute you are, how sexy you look, how much you like fashion. It doesn't matter anything about what anybody has to say or what they think is going to stop you. That heat behind God is going to take you to places, I promise. And so I'm encouraging y'all today just to get back aligned, to really focus on those goals and those dreams that you have. And like the conversations that you have with God in your free time, don't let those conversations go null and void when you get around everybody else, and forget those deep, dark moments and who's there for you, because you will sometimes. And I have just been reminded there is no external thing in this world that will make you feel the way God will. There is no external person. There is no vice. There is no item. There is no nothing that can give you the same satisfaction that God can for your soul. And so this episode is really just to hold y'all accountable the same way I'm holding myself on. Check yourself. Check your energy. Check the things that you allowing around you. Check all those draining potholes you got around. Seal up those holes and stop letting those energy vampires suck from you, as well as just letting useless energy leak out. You got to tighten up. You got to zip up your energy field, and you got to save all that for you and your creative work with God. I love y'all. It is the beginning of this month. So I'm expecting, again, like I said last episode, everybody needs to be having fun, shaking and whining and twerking. I'm hoping y'all did some of that. But other than that, submitting back to God and staying in gratitude, staying close to him, staying disciplined and diligent on those things y'all have talked about, because he's waiting for you. He's going to fulfill every promise. Like, what are we talking about? He's going to fulfill every promise when you get serious and when you get right. I'm waiting on you. He waiting on you to just come join us again and to get back serious about what's supposed to be going on right now. And with that being said, I do pray that you guys have received something beautiful from today's episode. I'm always excited to be here with y'all. I'm always excited to see what comes out of my mouth. I'm looking forward to finishing out this season, and I will see you guys next week. Have a great day. Bye.